It is with gratitude in my heart, in my soul, and in my spirit that I come to you today. Another day that happens to have a little bit more sun than what we've normally have had. Coming to you today a little bit after the noon time where I am, Central Time, by the way, in case you would like to know. Want to extend a nice hearty greeting to everybody out there within ear reach. Sorry about that. Let me turn off the monitor speaker there. Within ear reach of me, thank you. If you hear my voice and you're actually listening, I'm glad that you're here. As I am glad to be here. Welcome to the show, Man Noble TV. I'm a man who is noble that has a TV. Well, a couple TVs. I had to do a sound check before I came on today. And contrary to what might be believed, those of you that mainly don't know me, I don't like to hear myself talk. That's why I've hesitated in doing this for so long. But anyway, I'm going to be positive. It's all positive today, y'all. Today being Friday, the end of the week, the start of the weekend for a lot of you. And let me see, what was I going to talk about? Oh, like and respect, mutually exclusive. You know, it came to me today earlier, before going and starting with this, was a question that I had in mind. Do you necessarily have to like somebody and have respect for them to, to like what they do or whatever, or have any kind of acknowledgement of what they do? Do you necessarily have to like the individual, in the first place? What now? I'm going to kind of go around. Yeah, I know it's glitching a little. Yeah, I'm going to push through. Oh yeah, that's why I talk to myself. Yeah, my sound checks. I do my sound checks before I come on, and I hadn't really expected to come on today, so let me get with it. So because there's people out and about, there's a lot of people I read. I read and I attend lectures, and it ends up being a support in a peripheral type of way. And I may not necessarily like the person, but I like the information that they're putting down. So it's for that reason, and that reason alone, I'll pretty much, disregard whatever it is that might be their hang up, whether it's a personality tick or whether it's something I don't personally like about them. If they're dropping information and I don't have any other means of gaining the information, I'm going to use them for just that, just like they'd be using me for tuning in. Because this is a rewards type of system here, right? This social media thing. See, because, we're dealing with playing favorites, and you're going to play favorites wherever you are in society. If you have a job, and yeah, that bird's enjoying themselves. If you have a job, you play people at work play favorites with you. Your children play favorites with you. If you have children, you might be playing favorites among them. In any group, you know, I'm talking from a human relations standpoint. You're going to play favorites. You're going to have some things that you like, some things that are an attribute, some things that are a detriment. You're not going to like everything that somebody does. You're not going to like everything that somebody says. You're not going to like the way that they come across to you, or in a general sense. But if they're doing the work, if they're putting in some type of effort in doing something, and you're able to gain knowledge and information from that, then I view it as a win-win. You know, long ago, I've kind of gotten away from being concerned about who likes me and who doesn't like me. I really have gotten away from that. And within this recent time span, as of late, I've decided to not ask for monies or for anything, for any contributions from anybody for much of anything. There's a lot of things I keep to myself. You know, even in, you know, especially in the public, but even in this space, which I consider to be, you know, social media, it's entertainment, it's education, or whatever. And if you have products to provide, even if it's intellectual properties, and people are able to use like if you're specifically giving people information and advice about something, to do something and how to carry out their lives and function, then what's the problem with perhaps paying them for it? It's not like they're invoicing you, right? I mean, it's just, there's some things that's kind of gotten under my skin as of late, being within this space, as I'm still learning. And if you're not learning anything in life, you're dead. You're not alive, or some people would say otherwise. But anyway, a few years ago, back in 2018, I attended a lecture hosted by none other than Dr. Umar Johnson. I am not calling him out. This is not this type of space for that. And I am not that type of person, nor do I consider myself a personality with a functioning platform in order to go out here and call foul on something. That's just not my nature, right? And I don't know the gentleman personally. And there's a lot of people that I watch on social media that I don't know personally, and I'm not sure I care to know them personally. I'm gonna say that again. There's a number of people that I follow on social media. I won't even say follow, but there's a number of people that I watch on social media who provide content that I don't necessarily like. But if they provide the information, the basic information for me to follow up on, then so be it. Because there's people that I once worked with. There's people all throughout my working career in the job market I didn't necessarily care about. I wasn't coming over to your house after work. I didn't necessarily like you. There are cops on the street that I worked with that I didn't necessarily like. There are people that I actually almost got into knockdown fist fights with that I didn't necessarily like. But you know what? We kept our eyes on the mission. We did the job. So if you're mission oriented, there are certain things that you have to get past you. The thing is for me is, you know, I could care less about being liked, but I'm going to be respected. And I don't necessarily have to demand it, because it shows in the way that I interact with people. I don't walk around here thinking I have problems with everybody that I come into contact with, or anybody I choose to interact with or show up in a space with, but I'm prepared to handle myself accordingly. It's just a way of carrying yourself, right? And what we have to do, and I'm not please don't take this at all as any sort of advice or anything like that. It's just the way that I've tended to travel in my lane in my life, in this space, in my station in life. I've been successful in maintaining effective relationships, albeit they weren't entirely positive situations. We didn't always get along. We didn't always agree. But that's because I was task oriented. I was mission oriented. And the people I wound up in situations with were as well. I don't have to be your friend. I don't have to be your friend. So if we can get past those types of things, and I'm not giving advice, but if we can get past those types of things and I have your respect, then we're cool. Because my whole thing is this: I came into this world alone, and I'm prepared to leave by myself as well. It doesn't matter to me if we're friends. It doesn't matter to me if we'll ever see each other again. I went through a tirade on Facebook a few months ago. Do I have any regrets about okay, yeah, no, I don't mind if you share it. Where did you share that link there? Yeah, you can share it all you want, man. It's all good. I just got a DM about someone wanting to share something on the wall. Feel free to share that. That'll keep me from announcing it. We know how that works. No, yeah, I kind of got off track here. I apologize, but I operate in a lane of not necessarily having to command respect, but I you know, and you're not going to always get respect. It doesn't matter what type of work you're in, what line of work you're in, but when you're you know, as a part of human relations and stuff like that, you're going to do what you can to get by and get through the day. That's been my whole outlook on life, and I think really, it shows. You know, many people who have interacted, and I'm not speaking for them. You could pretty much ask. I won't say that because it's not feasible to do that, but if you could ask people that have been around me, you know, throughout different facets of my life in certain situations, they'll tell you I'm a stand-up person. But I'm not here to I don't have to justify myself to anybody. I believe in the thing, two words: just be. Just be. You know, just because I grew up, you know, in an area near Hollywood doesn't necessarily mean that I wanted to be Hollywood. I know quite a bit of people that were, you know, in the industry in that, and they actually had to play the game in order to get to where they've gotten, or, you know, to get looked at, to get considered, right? So I don't believe in the fakery. I don't believe in playing games with anybody. I remember one of the things in my mind, I remember a former colleague of mine one time. He said to me, you know, the thing is about you is I like being around you, man, because, you know, with you, you know where you stand. Being around me, they know where they stand with me. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I do, I'm not going to kiss your ass either. I've never kissed anybody's ass. Never had to. Just demonstrate that you're a stand-up person, that you're there for them, provide them if they need, if you're able to help them, go ahead and help them. I mean, there's some people I'm definitely grateful to. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's people that have helped me, you know, when I was down and pretty much resigned to what the outcome I felt it was going to be. And all because I was fixated on something else. You know, that's when I ended up resigning myself. And then because I'm yeah, you know, we get caught up in these roles and stuff like that, saying that how strong we are as men. And, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I took a bit of a pay cut for a time, you know, because my wife, for the first time, since we first got married, she's made, I mean, it's not so much the case now recently, but I took a pay cut for a time. And she ended up making more money than me. But see, that's her and her situation, and that's, you know, how we work together. We work together because you make there's a partnership associated with being married. It goes beyond the license. That's a whole other thing. What I'm saying is, if you're with somebody in a union together and you have a purpose, then you fulfill that purpose, because that purpose is actually divine. You're starting a family, you're creating a life together. It's not all about the material possessions, of course. But anyway, I don't want to go down that road. I'm just saying, because I've been at it for so long. And, you know, you're not even in a I got news for you. Even in a marriage, you're not going to always see eye to eye on things. At times, you're not going to like certain things that people do within a marriage, but you compromise. But in certain situations, I don't have to compromise with people outside of my household. I got to compromise with people that I live with. I don't have to compromise with people on social media. Hell no. That's why my standpoint here, that's why I've more or less have reformatted things and have gotten in my mind that I'm going to commit and move myself forward and in this process that is social media or whatever. And I don't know what I'm looking to do. I'm actually trying to see where I end up because I don't plan anything. That could be a bad thing for some people I would encourage, people at least half my age or so to plan. I tried, writing a 5-year plan and all that stuff they tell you in books and talk shows and stuff like that. But I've always been one to go with the flow of the water. I've always been one to live in the moment. Because, if you plan too much, sometimes you plan to fail. So just roll with it. Dig deep inside, do what it do. Because life bees that way sometimes. Life's going to deal you a deck of cards, and you're going to have to know how to play the suit. And shit, I don't even play poker. Anywho, yeah. So I can respect somebody and not necessarily like them. I can kind of respect what they do. There are certain things that I may not like in a person, but I can respect what they do. So back to 2018, December 2018, I was in attendance for I think he called it a power lecture. Was it a power lecture? I think that's what he called it. That's what it was titled. It was a lecture hosted by, Umar Johnson. Did he get my money to build his school, or is the school even built? Don't know. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure I care. Because I had my notebook with me, I had a recorder with me, and I was taking down the information that he provided. Tickets were about $18. I think it was $18 for admission, and I paid another maybe $25, $30 for one of his books that I still have yet to read. But people get all up in an uproar about, oh, look what he's doing. Is this school built? Is he grifting people? I'm not on a payment plan with the dude. And I tell you what, I was down to my last dime, and I'm not giving out on my business or nothing. But I've been on my last dime here and there, everywhere. I mean, it's tough times right now. It's tough times right now. I'll be honest with you. I mean, the particulars of which aren't any of anyone's real business. I mean, because this is, I've set this to public. It's a public space. So I'm not gonna be stupid enough to let all of my information out there unless you're willing to help. But I'm grateful for the fact that I actually have a voice and actually can say something. Whether or not anyone listens, hey, to each his own. That's cool. What I'm saying is I dropped a little bit of money on something, on a learning process, right? And it worked for me, but it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay for. And I didn't necessarily have the money to free up at the time, but guess what? I made it happen anyway. And now here I am sitting here looking at reformatting things and hopefully to become an entrepreneur. But I know it takes a lot more than what I have so far, because I'm lacking in resources. But am I going to bellyache about it? Did I get ripped off? No. Am I going to go and pinpoint this person and say, oh, they got, for instance, Umar Johnson? Am I going to say, oh yeah, he's out there fleecing the people? No. The ones that are really fleecing the people are those people that are in the White House. Those ones that are really fleecing the people are those people that are legislators and stuff like that. The ones that are fleecing the people are the ones that are making this, are considering the Supreme Court justice. The ones that are fleecing the people are ones that some people voted for, that are in office right now. We're facing all these consequences. I don't know about you, and it'll be really juvenile or perhaps infantile to label me as somebody that followed a particular former president last term, just because of the personality that he had. But I know one thing. I was doing freelance work, making deliveries. And I know the last term, the last president, I remember gas prices being $1.50 at the most. I remember it being as low as $1.25. I'm not exaggerating. I didn't pull up no charts either. But I remember fuel prices being as low as $1.25 only about roughly what, 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe. Well, how long has it been? The last presidency. Okay, I'll say it like that because I don't really go by the clock that much. I'm gonna have to pretty soon though. But anyway, what I'm saying to you is I haven't seen gas prices at $1.25 since around 89, 90. But yet now here we are, right? Elections have consequences. Now here we are paying damn near $10 for gas, at least depending on where you live. I feel bad for people out where I'm from because when I left California, it was $4.99 for super unleaded. And that was over 10 years ago. And I haven't looked back. So what I'm saying is you don't have to like me. You don't have to like whoever it is that comes on here and generates content, which I'm trying to do. I mean, whether or not, it's of value to somebody, that's my intention, is to come out here, talk for a while. Hopefully it'll be of benefit to somebody. But I don't put myself on any kind of pedestal to say that, I'm some kind of expert. I know all this and that and the third. A term that I have to shake. It seems like a nervous tick because I use these phrases that I keep hearing. So I must be watching way too much damn YouTube and all that. Which, by the way, I'm thinking of getting away from because of the censorship issues. But I haven't gotten to the level where I'm actually creating that much content because there's other platforms available. I'm not sure if you know, but there's just so many of us that are on YouTube, and it's been quite simple just to jump on here and go. But anyways, I figure since I won't even say I have an audience, but at last count. But anyway, I'm thinking about other things. I've been thinking about other things for the past year, other platforms to go to. And they may not specifically be your so-called black platforms either. Because there's one, and I won't put it out there, but there's one app that's out there that you actually have to pay money for in order to have access to it. So, but that's a whole other thing. But do I not respect who they are for trying to go out here and charge people for that app just because they're relying on my sentiments? Oh man, I got to support my people, so I'm going to go ahead and pay for the app, and then not that this one that applies to this particular app I'm talking about, but there's another one that was available, I think, for like a monthly fee and monthly account fee or something like that, and it was substandard. It kept hiccuping and stuff, like that, and I can't accept that. I won't accept that just because I'm loyal to my ethnic background. But if you're serving me junk, it ain't gonna work. No matter if it brands me as disloyal or what. I can't get to the level where I need to get with substandard material, with substandard equipment. I don't really set the bar that high, but I'm just saying. So liking, and do you feel that you need to actually like someone in order to respect them, or do you feel that you need both in order to either communicate with them or learn from them? Because I'm gonna tell you something. That cop that pulls you over, or that cop that comes after you and pulls you over, I'm sure you don't necessarily like them. Just saying. I don't necessarily. I don't go around here liking everybody, but you'll have my respect as long as I get it. And I'm not going to be, depending on the exchange, depending on the time, that we have to deal with one another, you start, every day with respecting people, and that gets you a long way, period. And you have reverence for the work that they do. You have reverence for human life, first of all. And I'm not saying that anyone's doing anything specifically wrong or what have you, because as they say, I don't necessarily want the smoke. I don't want the problem. I don't have time for it. I don't have the patience. I don't have the tolerance to be dealing with it. I'm trying to dwell in a space that's mostly productive, constructive. I'm not here to tear anybody down. And that's the outlook I have to most things. That's how the outlook I have to life and living it as best I can within these parameters that I do recognize are there. I find it widely or really unfortunate that we trip ourselves up. I'm talking like in the group situation as a people, as what have been a civilization, and you're going to have disagreements, within tribes and that and whatever. But even today, right now, all these years have gone by since since advancements made in technology, since the civil rights movement, the struggle, since before that, since before Jim Crow, since even the slavery institution. I mean, even obviously there was bickering then because you had the so-called high yellows. I'm in that category, I guess. Speaking, light skinned. We worked in the house. We worked in the big house, right? As the fable goes, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I don't mean to sound, anything more than I am or anything less. I don't even know what kind of point I was trying to make, but we all have to try to make things work, and we do make certain compromises. And what I would say is, if I ever had a problem with somebody, me personally, and I've had problems with people. Believe you me, I've had problems with people. Yeah, I've flipped out before. I've had situations that I've actually flipped out a couple times, and it got borderline indignant. But by and large, I've pulled people aside or they pulled me aside and we've hashed it out, even if it's to get through that particular period of time. Now, the photograph that you see right there of me standing in front of a motor coach, it's just a reminder of situations that you get into on the job doing that. When you have multiple charter buses and stuff, you got a team of drivers. You're not going to always agree on things. You're not going to always agree on how the job's carried out. And I say a small part as to why I no longer work in that industry is because I've gotten into squabbles with people. Not because I'm a person that's hard to get along with, but I'm not down with the BS. Now I'm trying to measure my speech here because I'm looking at someday, hopefully, some young, I won't say children will watch this, but maybe, who knows? Once you post something up and you hit enter and it stays there, right? Unless you delete it, even when you delete it, it still stays there. What I'm saying is, I'm looking at someday this being watched by the younger set. Maybe this could be something like either this video or maybe another video I might make could be beneficial to somebody at some point in time, even if it's slight or any kind of significant measure whatsoever. That's fine, but I don't get on here to intentionally do that, put myself on that type of ego platform or anything like that, but I keep that in mind. So just hear me out, because when I do these lives, I don't expect for everyone to jump on. I don't expect anyone to catch on to this later. If they do, fine. If not, whatever. I mean, we all lead busy lives. I don't need people to hold my hand. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put a pin in that part right there, holding your hand and stuff like that. Right. I don't necessarily need anyone to guide me along to show me specifically what I need to learn. If people are willing to put put together the effort and show people what to read, what to study from, that you present the material, and you're able to take notes while you're at it to further your understanding and your knowledge, then that's fine. And the fact that it's for free. You got people that get on here every day and it's free information that they're giving you. It's up to you to make the decision on whether or not to follow it, apply it, or whatever. Is it necessarily wrong to call them out, to call foul or something like that if they're putting out negative information? Or not negative information, but if they're putting out falsehood, who knows? But my first inclination would be to contact the source of the problem. Directly. One of my favorite motion pictures, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, probably the towards the end of the motion picture, towards the end of the movie, where Mr. Wolf shows up and handles the problem that Jules and Vince Vega have. Basically blew somebody's brains out and there's brain matter all in the car. And this is a motion picture. Okay. I'm just going to state it. It's a motion picture from 1994, Pulp Fiction. Okay. One of my favorite ones. Anyway, they had him to come out and solve their problem, right? Apparently Vincent Vega wasn't really feeling Mr. Wolf that keenly. And at the onset of the scene, there was a little bit of conflict. I like the way Mr. Wolf handled that. Pretty much, in a nutshell, said he's going to leave them hanging to handle their own mess. Pardon me for being curt, type of thing. So you don't have to necessarily like who it is that's assisting you or giving you the information, even though that you might not be willing to admit that they've assisted you in some way. As far as I'm concerned, I learn every day. I learn from with my eyes open. At least I try to learn every day from somebody, whether they're younger than me, whether they're older than me. I can learn something from my own child. I can learn something from the neighbors down the way. The pride and the ego don't get in my way at all of it. And I know I have ego. I know that there's pride. It's a matter of reining it and keeping it in check. Among the other career positions that I always tend to talk about, which I'm trying to minimize though, but it was such a dynamic part of my life, was working in a particular assignment. And I was dealing with certain people who could care whether or not you existed. But you know what? And it wasn't out of fear. I gave them respect because they were a human being. I treated them like they were human beings. And you know what? I never had a problem. They understood where I was coming from. I understood where they were coming from. And guess what? I learned from those people. I'm not saying I learned from every single person I came into contact with in my life, but I've learned from people that some wouldn't expect to learn anything from. I mean, whether or not that's in scripture, I'm sure it is. I'm not prepared to quote any because I'm not really that schooled in that arena. I'll be honest with you. But my hat goes off to those who are. So, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be because it's really nice outside. But like I say, you turn more people off by commanding and demanding for people to respect you. That's been my experience. Because if you are, let me see this here. If you are in a particular position that I'm thinking about all the uniform positions that I worked before. Nobody cares about your damn uniform. They don't care what status you think you have. They don't care about the rank that you have. They don't care that you have bars and stars. They don't care if you have your boots shined. They don't care if you look like you're in great shape and fit as a fiddle. That doesn't automatically command respect. It's the way that you treat people. It's the way that you are to people. And it just seems to me that there's just energy, too much negative energy expended on commanding respect out of people. So I don't, but yeah, respect is a two-way street. I come across respectful in most of my dealings with people in public. And, I think about the gas station. I think about being gas station ready, which is a phrase that I'm borrowing from one of the pages I follow on Instagram. It actually is like a fitness page or a bodybuilder's page of the like. But remaining gas station ready means just that. It means being on your P's and Q's. It means presenting an image and a persona that you don't want to be messed with. Some people would say that's a gruff exterior or something like that, but I look at it as a coping mechanism. Of course, I mean, even with the tone of my voice I'm listening to right now, and even as recently as a couple of days ago, people have said, I mean, I've heard it being said that, yeah, I love talking to him, but he's still got that cop in him. I've been fighting to get that out of me for for a long time now. I don't know when it's going to go away, but even before that, I was pretty straight to the point. I don't like coddling people. And actually, it served to my benefit in a number of situations that I've encountered in the past, because I didn't leave it to be any mystery. I didn't play any games with people. I'm not one to play games. I mean, I'll play with you a little bit, I guess, but because there's no black and white in every situation. Sometimes there's a bit of a gray area. You're not going to be the bull in the china cabinet. Sometimes you got to play the game. And it's all about relating to people. So if you carry on and have somewhat of a gruff exterior or whatever, there's only people that are within your circle that know that it's not always so. That you have the best intentions. And my intention, pretty much is learning what I can from people who are able to put out the information. I don't have any skin in the game. I mean, just using the phrase. I'm not out here wasting too much more of my money. I don't really have a lot of money to waste, to be honest. But I'm not saying like I'm upside down. But it's nobody's business whether or not I am. But the thing of it is, man, it's just we're not going to all like each other. A lot of times we're going to just tolerate each other. There have been times I've worked in the car in a car with for 12 hours with somebody. Didn't necessarily like them too much, but we got through the day just fine. And we ended up working with each other again and again. Did it mean that we're going to spend the holidays together? Did it mean we're going to go on trips together and hang out during our leisure time? No. And yeah, respect is a two-way street. If I don't have your respect, just let me know. I'm not going to mess with you. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to interact with you. I don't have to interact with you. There's a cajillion people in this world, on this planet. That doesn't mean we have to coexist or coexist as within the same group of people. We just tolerate each other and get by. This big blue ball is incredibly big, but it can get smaller. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking, because Los Angeles is a big city, but I know I've happened to run across different circles where I've met a lot of people. Degrees of separation sometimes get kind of narrow. So let's see, what else was I going to bring up? I think I might have touched on that pretty good, huh? Any questions or anything like that while I try to bail myself out of this thing? I didn't dig a deep ditch. Let me look at something right here. What kind of shocks me? I won't say shock, but what kind of bothers me is the lack of civility, the lack of common civility that people have for one another these days. And I understand that people are afraid to intervene in certain situations. I had run across something on Instagram. The caption had something to do with somebody witnessing or observing, rather observe, because I don't want to use I don't want to use the word witness. Well, no one wants to get involved with that. But I had observed someone recording an instance of domestic violence in the parking lot, in the public, in the parking lot of a gym or something like that. Anyway, it is. We are in some trying times right now, and it is really unsafe to really consider intervening in much of anything. I can understand if people, um, you know, not necessarily turn their backs and stuff. I don't really get into that. But sometimes, there's a line that you actually have to cross. It just is. I mean, sometimes you just have to intervene for common decency, on behalf of everybody, on society as a whole. I mean, I don't think we're quite to the point of anarchy yet, but we're pretty close. We're pretty close. Depending on where you are, you know, I'm not necessarily going to jump out here and be all that vigilant. I'm not going to be jumping out here and trying to be a hero. Even when I worked in the fold, I wasn't a hero. But I did what I needed to do in order to make sure everything was cool with any situation that I encountered, and I did my best within my abilities, within the scope of my employment. But it's different when you're a private citizen, right? And these cell phone devices, see, because I grew up in a time where you stepped in. I grew up in a time where you just intervened. I grew up in a time where it wasn't that everybody was videotaping everything. I don't I don't I don't find a problem with recording stuff, but there's a time and a place for everything, but there's also a time where you could one person can record it, two or three other guys can intervene in a given situation. Let me give you, not that it was this particular scenario, but let's just say um you're in a parking lot. There's there's a young man beating up a woman, right? I would like to expect that the men present will be the ones that would intervene instead of holding their cell phones up. Everybody's getting a separate camera angle. I would hope, but I don't know nowadays, man. I don't know. I'm seeing, and I'm not laying it on the young heads or anything like that. I don't know where we missed that part of being just civil to one another and practicing civility. I remember when I must have been about 13 or 14 years old, and I was riding in the car with my mom and a couple other cousins, and we're going through a part of LA. I think we're headed over to the Hollywood area or something like that. We see a man. Oh, we were in the Pico area, like the Pico district or something, like mid city, and we see a dude. Man, it's the reason why it stands out to me from memories, because he had kind of a perm to his hair. He had like a press and curl or something. Anyway, he had a sweatsuit on and snatched a woman's purse. Now, my mother, she bends the car around the corner, and I look at her like, "What are you gonna do?" She said, "We're gonna stop him. We're gonna see where he goes." Nothing materialized out of that situation though, beyond just being good witnesses though. And being that we had no ties to criminal activity or weren't a part of that situation or were much less associated with I won't say much less because it sounds like a knock, but we weren't directly involved in any type of street type activity like gang memberism or nothing like that. So we weren't snitches. Phone call was placed to Wilshire PD, LAPD Wilshire Division, and they rolled somebody out. I don't remember I can't remember the outcome, but we gave a description or whatever, and went about our way. So what I'm saying is we cannot allow ourselves to lose sight of being civil. We cannot lose sight of those things. I won't. You know, if I went outside today and I see somebody, you know, in a situation, I definitely I would become involved. I'd have to be. That's just within me. That's how I'm wired. You know, I mean, I don't necessarily live in fear, but this particular time frame that we're in right now, it's a matter of staying alert of your surroundings, staying alert to your surroundings, knowing what's going down around you, knowing the history of the area that you might be in at the time or what have you. Just have a general awareness, man. Because there's people out there that want what you got or think that you have more than they do, etc. So, you know, it's just this state of readiness as opposed to paranoia, which has been integral to allowing me to live this long, I think, you know, other than the obvious celestial reasons. Oh man, there we go. Here we go. I did not expect to be on I told myself before I went on that I was not going to be on for an hour. And here we go. It's like I'm showing 53 minutes have elapsed. Well, I'd like to go ahead and take some questions and possibly even invite a guest on if anyone would like to come on. Otherwise, you know, I'm always going to have that invitation out there to those people who might hear this on the playback. You know, anytime or, you know, that you'd like to come on or leave me a question, drop me a question or anything like that, you can feel free to do that. You know, that's kind of space I want to start out in. And, you know, I don't really have any restrictions here. Obviously, I don't have any moderators. I don't feel the need for them right now. You know, it's just kind of like more or less casual conversation. You know, people have told me that before. They say, man, you seem kind of laid back. You know, yeah, I am. I try not to get worked up. And as I move along in this path, you know, in years, I'm thinking that, you know, I want to just be, you know, pretty much laid low. I don't want to have to react to small stuff. You know, I did almost get into a fight a few years ago, and I was still, how old was I? About, I think I was about 40 something. That was about 10 years ago, but I don't look for fights. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a defender. I'm not an aggressor. I'm about being fair. I'm about, you know, defending your position if anybody confronts it. You know, I'm well in touch with that, with the fight or flight. And as you know, you just got to look at things as they are and just make judgment. All right. I was looking for something else, but I think I might have covered it. In case there's some misunderstanding, you know, let's see. Just because I might click a like or something like that, or maybe cross share an image or something, doesn't necessarily mean, it may not necessarily mean that I support it. And if I do, I might support aspects of something, and I may not support the whole thing across the board. So don't get it twisted, you know. Let's see here. What else? I was going to leave something. I'm about to get hungry. It's almost, it's just a little bit past lunchtime. I didn't have anything to eat yet. Let's see here. All right. Let me see. You know, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. Anyone that's available to join or want to jump in, you'll be free to do so if you'd like. I'm going to take a bit of a pit stop, you know, in the main, and be back with you. I'm going to give it about, I'm showing 20 after right now, so give me about 5 minutes. I have been ramping up on my water. So what I'm going to do is leave, I'm going to leave it on the main screen, I guess. I was thinking about leaving it on the YouTube, but I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it up here. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that after I come back. Give me about 5 minutes, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black to the black, black. All right, I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. If I can get my money together, man, I go and get me a new computer set up for this. I kind of like doing this. It's kind of fun. Always has been, really. Anyway, I am back, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and look at some few of the headlines here. I just ran across one that says drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily could benefit the heart. Studies say. Now, this is a study I'm going to actually put some stock in because I actually do drink coffee every day. And it's from the American College of Cardiology. I would probably believe that they're an authority on the matter. It says that studies reveal drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee every day may, operative word here, may benefit the heart. Now, how many cups do you drink a day? Link in the bio for you. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that's true. That the Journal of American Medicine has mentioned this type of thing before. I think with coffee and wine. Excuse me a second. With coffee and I believe wine as well, that it's beneficial for the heart and can work for the heart. But everything is in moderation, y'all. Everything's in moderation. So do what you do. Like I always tend to say, do what you do. And that's a phrase I actually adopted from a friend that told me a long time. Matter of fact, they're the person that actually bought this chair that I'm sitting in when I told them a few years ago, well, about 2 or 3 years ago, I was going to do this thing full bore podcasting situation. They through their generosity, they shipped me a chair. So, but they're not here now clicking like or anything, but that's cool. They bought me a chair. I've been using it. Believe me. Also, too, on another front, as of from an article from the 18th, March 18th, from Massachusetts General Hospital, saying that marijuana for medical use may benefit. I'm sorry, I'm putting words in. Let me reread that. Marijuana for medical use may result in rapid onset of cannabis use disorder. And I'm just going to read a few of the key takeaways here. I'll post a link in the window so you guys can edify yourselves. The other story that I read over was in Instagram on Fox 11 or Fox LA on Instagram, Fox 11 News, Fox LA, about the coffee. But this one I make reference to because I actually had the tab saved, and I think I was going to talk about it today. But the other topic came up. Key takeaways from the study again about marijuana for medical use. They're claiming it may result in rapid onset of cannabis use disorder. Key takeaways. A new study shows that using cannabis products to treat pain, anxiety, and depression failed to improve these symptoms while doubling the risk of developing the addictive symptoms of cannabis use disorder. Don't know what that is unless I'm probably sure somebody like a popular celebrity that we know that did some dance steps at the Super Bowl can shed some light on it. Anyway, doubling the risk of developing the addictive symptoms of cannabis use disorder. People seeking cannabis to treat symptoms of anxiety and depression were at greatest risk of CUD, cannabis use disorder. Contrary to evidence-based medicine, people use medical marijuana This is people with marijuana cards choose their own products and dosing, suggesting the need for better controls over dispensing, use, and professional follow-up of these patients. All right, so if you read the headline, you could probably think that they're making it out to be the boogeyman, right? But it says here, okay, people with medical marijuana cards choose their own products and dosing. Part of being in this space has to deal with dosing. Don't ask me how I know, but part of this has to deal with dosing and dosing accordingly, depending on what your makeup is. As I'm learning, I'll leave it at that. So to each his own, but legalize it, regulate it, and you won't have the problems. Well, people misuse alcohol like they misuse prescription medication as well. So I don't know. It's just human nature for people to misuse stuff, man. You know, that's just how it is. It's the human condition. Just got to have discipline, man. Got to be disciplined. All right. Anyway, I don't necessarily mean to go very much longer than probably another 20, 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes. But I am back. Those of you who might, I don't mind because there's just so much to talk about. But if there's any of you out there that might have some ideas of anything that you want me to talk about, or might have want me to share my perspective on, feel free to drop an email down there listed below. In the what do you call it, the streamer? Yeah. Oh, here's one here too. People will ignore knowledge from the fact it came from you. Ooh. There we go. Let me read that again. People will ignore knowledge for the fact it came from you. You can't, I can't expect anyone to listen to what I'm saying. I mean, if I impart knowledge on stuff, and I tell you that I know stuff, I don't expect for people to follow it. Why? Because I'm not a so-called recognized authority, for one. I let people tell me that. And I'm not a celebrity. I've never been popular. Well, I realized that after high school, people still remembered who I was or who I am, but I never really considered myself as anyone out for popularity or anything, like that. I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't raised to, worry about being popular, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Where does it help you? No. I mean, certain associations that you make with people, they can be helpful. Damn. I was speaking with a relative. I'm watching a video. I'm sorry, I'm watching a video that it says dramatic video shows a violent attack in which 3 women start to smash a car's windows while the driver watches it all unfold from inside the vehicle. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd intervene with that one. I'd be outnumbered. I'd just be a good witness on that one. Looks to be out in LA somewhere. Anyway, I don't mean to be hopping around. It just kind of caught my eye because it plays into a conversation I had with a relative from out that way. That there was a shooting incident that occurred in a part of Los Angeles, not far from USC, not far from Manual Arts High School, and passenger in the car at the time of the shooting. Not that she was completely unscathed, but if you, you know what, I don't know. I might try to pull it up right now since I'm kind of like burning the time here, burning the sunlight. Let me see if I can pull it up. But see if I can find it. Yeah, let me just put some keywords in there. So let me backstory is I don't really have a backstory, but anyway, I was having a conversation. Man, shot to death. When is this? Man, death. Oh no, they went back too far. Got to do this. I hate the term multitasking, but that's what I'm doing right now. If you want to know. Okay. Let's see. Wait. I'm going to post that up. Yeah, okay. I'll go over this, and I'm also going to show the. You know what? Should I play the? I'm going to be lazy. I don't want to read over it because I stammer too much. Give me just 1 second. Let me go back to the previous tab. Go from there. Should I share my screen? No, I don't want to. Woman shot in hail of gunfire in Exposition Park. Vehicle riddled by dozens of bullets. Now, I want you to see this right here. It does not at all look to me to have been survivable at all. Not even close. But this young woman, survived this right about here. Well, it's still loading up. I'm a slave to the spinning little thing on the screen. But let me see. I think it was loading the video. All right, let me get this here. There we go. All right, you see the headline right there. I'm waiting for the video to load. It's taking a while. Let me see. Did I show the screen? Yeah, there it is. All right. Or if you're by a computer or your device, you can pull it up yourself. You probably get it done quicker than me. And I'll get back to the conversation in a moment of what I was speaking on relative to this situation or whatever. I was speaking to a relative the other day, or the day after this happened. I had placed a phone call, made sure they was okay, and made sure they were aware. What was I doing? Oh, that's what I'm doing. Give me a second. I'm trying to drop this off real quick.
Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Breaking news at 11 o'clock, a hail of gunfire in Exposition Park, just blocks from USC. Dozens of bullet casings can be seen on the ground, and that white BMW covered with bullet holes. The driver of that car, a young woman, surviving it all. Air 7 HD overhead before the ambulance.
Damn, she was the driver of the car. All right.
Even arrives. Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero live now with the late breaking new information.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of glitchy, y'all. I might just read over it because this is getting on my nerves. I'm sure it's getting on your nerves too. So I'm probably going to just drop this. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm just going to read it or something, or actually just share still.
And exclusive video.
No, wait a minute. We got video. Wait a minute. I didn't see that part. I just read it on my phone, and I read it the other morning. I didn't even upgrade.
Mark, it is just remarkable. We're here on King, just off of Vermont.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's not going to work out. I'll worry about that later. I got to upgrade some things. I might even start using another program to do this with, because this is unnerving. It really is.
Vermont, and that car right behind me has dozens of bullet holes through it.
All right, I'm going to show y'all a picture. I'm going to show a photograph of the actual car itself, because this stream is still on my Thunder right now. Give me a second. All right. I'm gonna pull it from Newsweek. I see somebody that posted up on YouTube said it's about 100 shots. 100 shots were fired, I guess, to the vehicle. Let me see. Give it a second. Longer than a second, but it's just a figure of speech. I got video too. I don't want to play the video. It's an ad. See, you know what it is? A lot of it too is too many ads, man. Too many ads. I don't have the patience to watch through no damn ads just to make a point. I'll just go ahead and go verbal with it. Yeah. See, part of this is, well, I'm doing this from a laptop, and I need to upgrade things instead of just a conventional desktop. But let me see if I can pull the images up and show y'all, just to give y'all the idea or Let's see here if I get a still photo of it. I'm not showing the. I'm not going to show. There it is, right there. Here we go. Give me a second. All right, that should be a good picture right there. You'll get the point. You'll get the gist of what I'm trying to convey here. Is let's see, I'm trying to drop this. Give me a second. Because it's blocking my screen. I got my name tag down there, and I'm trying to get it out the way for a second, so I could we can see the whole screen. But not gonna worry about it right now. All right. So what you doing out there today? What's going on out there today? I see you, brother. I see you, brother Dale. What you doing out there today? Is that you out there still? You just out there working, right? Do anything? Let me see here. Give me a second. Yeah. I got to pull up this other video that I just saw that I mentioned earlier about these people just fighting in the street, man. And it's just an erosion of civility, like I kind of touched on earlier. Civility is just eroding in people. People are just acting up. They've been acting up like for years. It's nothing new, but it's just crazy. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I'm pretty much being a homebody right now. Now you see all those. You see this right here. Let me see if you can see. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. Let me big it up a little bit. That is not something that would be survivable. And this young lady, as it was reported, that was in the car, survived it. And I saw a tagline that said about 100. It looks like a good 50, at least, to the windshield alone, maybe 30, 40, or 50 rounds. And look at the size. Man, look, let me tell you. And what it did, the conversation that I had with a loved one, with a relative, was that we got people out here in these streets, man, that are, coming up. But they're coming up through, and I don't mean to paint a broad brush, but they're coming up through ill-gotten gains, through fraudulent means, because they noticed an uptick of premium model upscale European cars, where before you didn't see them quite as much. I mean, in certain areas, in specific areas of the city. The thing of it is, when you have let's just say a late model junior executive's vehicle, but you're living foul. You're living in a dwelling that's about 800 square feet, or a single wide trailer. Well, it just shows where you spend your money. I don't tell anyone. I don't pocket watch anybody. But what comes with that is you want to keep that stuff, right? You're going to do everything you can to keep those things. And people put themselves in certain positions to want to do it. Now, thinking the other day about the increase in types of activities that's going on, more so than ever before. You got jewelry stores. I never imagine. I mean, it's one thing to have a smash and grab from a jewelry store inside of a shopping mall, but this group of individuals busted out some windows in the center of Beverly Hills in broad daylight and got away with $5 million worth of jewelry. What does that say? What does that say to our conditions? I mean, there's going to be more groups that are doing this more. I mean, there's been groups like this for years that's been doing stuff like this to a lesser extent. It's on the rise right now. I mean, that falls into preoccupation on material possessions. Get the money, get the bag, regardless, right? Whether or not you respect people in the process or what have you, You know, it just mystifies me at what folks will resort to in order to come up in the eyes of other people. It's all for appearances. It's all for show. I mean, that's just kind of the way I look at it. Let me load up this other. I want y'all to see this, and I want to see how it plays out on here. Anyway, I'm kind of like testing things again. I mean, I'm taking a risk here because I'm using my resources up pretty good. But give me a second here. No, that's the wrong page, dog. I'm talking to myself. Talking to yourself is fine. It makes you feel much better. Yep. There's a song about it. Earth, Wind, and Fire. All about love. And I think that's the chorus part or leading up to it. Talking to yourself is fine. Makes you feel much better. Okay. So put that in your song list and play it. All right. So was I clear or unclear about the issue pertaining to respect versus respect and or liking somebody? I mean, you could totally, I can totally like not really like you, but still respect your efforts and what you do, you know, but I don't necessarily have to like you. I don't necessarily have to kick it with you. I'm not the one that has to live with you. I'm not the one that has to deal with you. Right. So don't worry about it. Hold on a second. See, because I get on Instagram from a computer sometimes. Those of you that communicate with me through that may happen to notice my typing is a little bit faster. It's only because I'm doing it from a computer. Let me see. Yeah, it's on that page. Let me see if I'm going to save it first so I can get it and show it to y'all in just a second. I want to thank those of you out there who hit me up and stuff like that. Keep me in your circle. God, this dude's bothering me. Okay. My goodness. Tell you what. Okay. Yeah, they trying to. Let me see here. I have experienced something as recently as like yesterday on an app platform that I signed up for, and it actually required that I do some kind of video, and I was like, what the whoop-de-doo is this? What is this here? And part of it involved having to hold like a specific weight, amount of weight, so that it can show that you can move stuff around or whatever. So that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, you know, it's all about an upboarding process, and it's not necessarily mine. You know, it is what it is. You know, in order to do something, you gotta go jump through some hoops sometime. That's what people don't seem to grasp really is, you know, sometimes you got to jump through hoops, man, in order just to kind of get through and reach the end, you know, of a given situation. All right, here it is here. Let me see if it's going to come up. Let me see if it's going to, I didn't even click. I don't even like clicking hard on stuff like this, man. Because it's hold on a second. Where's the audio? Oh, it was in the city of Bell, California, outside of Huntington Park, outside of LA, greater LA, in LA County. I don't think it's going to.
She's a 22-year-old woman who was driving the car and was the only.
Hold on, let me see if I can get. I'm still going to have these glitches here, so bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. I don't like sharing my screen. Sometimes I do. All right, let's see. It's here.
So according to the Bell Police Department, they say that.
All right.
So according to the Bell Police Department, they say the incident happened near the 4600 block of Florence Avenue. A group of 3 women intentionally crashed into the car. They leave, make a U-turn, and hit the car again. The women then exit the car and start vandalizing the victim's car. The victim, she is a 22-year-old woman who is driving the car and was the only person in the vehicle. Police say the suspects fled the scene and took off heading east on Florence. As for what sparked all of this, it's still unknown at the moment. The victim says she doesn't know the three women that attacked her and that the only injuries that she has are cuts on her hands from the broken glass. The victim is still shaken up from the scary situation and didn't want to talk to us on camera, but family members are now asking for the public's help to locate the suspects.
I mean, I don't know if there was road rage but when you see the video, you can see how angry they were and just disruptive, and the vandalism that took place, that we're just so happy that nothing happened to her.
So according to the
Man, look,
department,
I'm gonna tell you what I saw from that video. I don't want to overdo resources on here, overtax everything, but what I saw from that video from one of the aggressors there, they were like falling over themselves a couple times. So somebody was loaded in that car. Somebody was loaded, man. It screwed with their rationale process, right? But that was a later model European car. Probably can't afford. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not pocket watching or nothing. I'm not. It is what it is, man. People are going to be what they're going to be. You know, there's going to be an additional market out there for people that need to learn how to protect themselves, man, or whatever, or conflict mediation, conflict avoidance will be key in most everything. I mean, we can't expect conflict mediation to happen with the public officials. We have to actually, summon ourselves to do that. We have to be masters at that and controlling ourselves, controlling our emotions, keeping from getting so enraged to the point of flipping your car around, turning it around, connecting with the other car, colliding with the other one, and engaging in a fight in the middle of the street in broad daylight. All for what? I don't get it. I got a quick story along those lines when I was talking about intervention and stuff like that. I remember being out at a movie theater a number of years ago in the Inland Empire. I think in Fontana. I like to call it Fontana. Anyway, there was a fight that happened after the movie let out, and there I was separating the parties involved. It happened to be young women, but there was a crowd of guys around, and nobody else was going to do nothing. And I intervened, but and separated them. I mean, I didn't physically touch them, but I was able to stand in between them for a length of time where they were able to kind of almost separate. I was able to kind of like just stand there for a minute, took a couple blows or whatever. And that's when I knew right there that I already knew that things are getting worse as far as civility goes among just average everyday people that just want to be something that they're not, or they want to press an issue that's not even there in the first place, or they want to just pick a fight with people or just be garden variety stupid. I don't get it. Man. What road are we traveling? I ask myself. Well, I don't know. I'm not in your lane. I tell you what, I'm not. I happen to be in a space right now where I maintain my own personal security. I maintain a certain space around myself. I've always been that way. I've been that way since childhood. I don't, I maintain a certain space, and I try to remain aware when I go outside of these doors. I mean, that's all I can do. I think even more so nowadays with the encroachment of certain substances that people use. I mean, they add illegal substances to the legal substance, that being cannabis, let's say, and people add stuff to it, like substances like fentanyl, which is the latest scourge that's out there, and people they're just losing it beyond any realm or any measure of control. And I dare not ask the question, where is it leading to? Where is it leading to? As masks, restrictions are being lifted. People want, and right now is spring break, right? It's spring break, and depending where you are, in the country, in the U.S. confines within the U.S. is now spring break. A lot of schools are being let out now. So anyway, it is what it is there. That's it. I'm going to wrap up. I didn't want to go too much longer than now. I'm out of here. I'm gonna get out and enjoy some sunshine. If you're near some sunshine, enjoy that too, because it's actually a pick me up. A good pick me up is really healthy. All right. See y'all next time. I'm scheduled to come on Wednesday, but you never know. I might come back sooner than that. Depends how I feel. Thanks to y'all. Thanks to y'all for who have been of support for me in this endeavor as I move forward. All right. So we'll see you again sooner than later. This is the Man Noble TV show, and I was seeing if anyone would want to join me on the show today, but maybe some other time. I'm trying to figure out what time is a good time to come on. Maybe, but we'll see y'all this coming Wednesday. Unless something else changes. You never know, man. You never know. All right. See y'all next time. Sooner than later. Be well. Be good. Try anyway. Peace.